Hello, everyone. I am coming to you in the middle of a break that we are having on Annual Conference 2020. For those of you who don't know, I'm guessing most of you do, but for those of you who do not know, Annual Conference is a once a year gathering of everyone from the Mountain Sky Conference. And this year it is online. And so we have a Zoom Facebook meeting all day today and all day tomorrow. So I don't have too much time to bring you today's devotion. But what I do want to say is a warm and genuine happy Father's Day to all of the incredible men in our churches, in our communities. And I want to say a special happy Father's Day to my dad, Bob Blattner. My dad, Bobby Blatts, Daddy Bob, we have lots of nicknames for him, is the world's best dad, in my opinion. I obviously am not biased at all, but my dad, Bob, for those of you who don't know him, is brilliant. He is just the smartest man. My mom would always say that my dad would take like a tenth of the time to study in med school where they met. And my mom would study 10 times longer, and my dad would just always get a better score. Like, he is just brilliant. So smart. He is a retired ear, nose, and throat doctor and was an incredible physician, is an incredible father and husband and son and brother and friend. And so, Dad, I just love you so much. And I am sad that I don't get to see you on Sunday for Father's Day, but I am so glad that Russ and I are getting to drive to Colorado the following week to see you and Mom for a little bit. And so today, for our scripture for today's devotion, dedicated to fathers, I want to read one of my favorite verses from the Bible, passages from the Bible. And it's Luke chapter 15, and it's the parable of the prodigal son. You see, God is neither male nor female. And so we are all created in the image of God, right? We are all made in the imago Dei. And so while God can be maternal, God can also be paternal. And so we see all throughout scripture this image of what God is like. Um, and I love that in the prodigal son, we see all of the compassion, the love, the support, the persistence, and again, the joy that this father shows for not just the prodigal son, but both of his sons. And so please join me in reading Luke chapter 15, starting in verse 11. And he said, there was a man who had two sons, and the younger of them said to his father, Father, give me my share of property that is coming to me. And he divided his property between them. Not many days later, the younger son gathered, and he had taken a journey into the far country, and there he had squandered his property in reckless living. And when he had spent everything, a severe famine arose in that country, and he began to be in need. So he went and he hired himself two citizens of that country, who sent him into the fields to feed the pigs. And he was longing to be fed with the pods that the pigs ate, and no one gave him anything. But when he came to himself, he said, How many of my father's hired servants have more than enough bread, but I perish here with hunger? I will rise and go to my father, and I will say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Treat me as one of your hired servants. And he arose and came to his father. But while he was still a long way off, his father saw him and felt compassion, and ran and embraced him and kissed him. And the son said to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. But the father said to his servants, Bring quickly my greatest robe and put it on him. Put a ring on my son's finger and shoes on his feet, and bring Bring the fattened calf and kill it. Let us eat and celebrate. For my son was dead, but is now alive. He was lost, and now is found. And they began to celebrate. And now the older son was in the field and came because he heard music and dancing. So he drew near to the house and called out to one of the servants and asked what was going on. The servant said, well, your brother has come, and so your father has killed the fattened calf because he has received him back safe and sound. But he was angry and refused to go in. So his father came out to the other brother and said to him, look, what is the problem? The, the brother said, all of these years I have served you, father, and I have never disobeyed your command. Yet you never even gave me a young goat that I might celebrate with my friends. But when this other son of yours comes, who has devoured your property with prostitutes, you kill the fattened calf for him. And he said to him, son, you are always with me, and all that is mine is yours. It was fitting to celebrate and be glad, for your brother was dead, and now is alive. He was lost, and now is found. So I love that because it shows us the heart of God and the fatherly, paternal characteristics that God has. I know so many fathers who feel like they're just so hard on themselves because they wish they had done something different, or they wish they had better relationships with their kids, or maybe there are, men that are really struggling because they haven't talked to their kiddos in a really long time and they're just yearning for that reconciliation. My encouragement to all of you, all the men that are watching this devotion, is to just remember you are made in the image of God, with compassion, with heart, with love, with joy, and to go after whatever children are in your life, whether it be your biological children, your spiritual children, maybe children that you mentor, children in your family, to continue to pursue them, to love them, to pray with them, and to not give up, even if it's hard and you don't see them or hear from them maybe for years. Um, the story of the prodigal son is so interesting and fitting to me because it does show how complex our relationships are and how they differ, father to son, and then how his relationship with his other son is so different, father to son. But remember that when we radiate love and compassion and we, again, take the time to invest in our family, it, it pays off. God will reward us. And so this Sunday, we are going to be celebrating online, in online service, and in two outdoor worship services in Billings, one at Evangelical UMC, that's where I will be at, and one at Grace UMC, Pastor Sarah's church. And so we are going to be celebrating all of the amazing men of God in our churches, in our communities. And I just want to say, I know the spectrum of fatherhood is so wide, and I acknowledge that. I know that there are fathers who just are really grieving. I know there are also men who would have loved to be fathers that are going to be grieving on Sunday. And so just know that wherever you are and however you come on Sunday, June 21st, know God meets you in the midst of that you are loved and celebrated and supported, as the man of God, made in the image of God that you are. You are so beloved. And so I pray that this Father's Day you would be celebrated, that you would feel honored, that you would feel supported. And I know that you are making an incredible difference in the lives of those who know you, because I know that whether or not you have your own kids or not, you are a father figure to some. The final thing that I'll say is just how important it is to mentor and to pour into the lives of other people's children. I'm a CASA, court appointed special advocate. And so there's children in the Yellowstone County area that I advocate for on a daily basis. And we need father figures, we need men, we need male role models in the lives of the children in foster care systems more than anything. So if you are lamenting how life has turned out, whether your relationship with your own kids hasn't been what you had hoped, or you feel like it's too late, or you haven't had the opportunity to have your own children, or you're grieving the loss of your own children who have passed away, know that you have the opportunity to be that role model, that male role model, that father figure in so many different ways, whether it's teaching Sunday school, helping out at youth group, being a part of Boy Scouts, or becoming a CASA. There are so many children that just need positive, safe men in their lives, men that they can look up to. Um, when I did prison ministry, I talked to the women and the men in the prison, and they all said that it was really hard for them to see God as a good God when they were saying the Lord's Prayer and when they were reading scripture, um, because that word father was really hard for them. Their earthly fathers had been horrible to them and abusive. They had abandoned them. And so that idea and that concept of a good father was hard. And it is hard for so many people. And so I always do point them to scriptures like Luke 15 with the prodigal son, because that is the heart of God, and that father figure, as God is both mother and father, that paternal instinct to just love and care and support and go after, um, and cheer and coach and teach um, kids. That is how fathers are supposed to be. And I know it's not always possible, but what is possible is to see restoration and reconciliation and redemption in our world by deciding that you are going to make a difference, um, that you are going to give back to the children and the young people in your community and in your circles, um, and you're going to make a difference for them. And so I love you all. I hope that you have a wonderful weekend. And again, all of the men watching, happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to you. Know that those that are around you are looking to you. They love you. They appreciate you, whether they say it every day or not. They appreciate you. And know that you are honored and you are celebrated. I will see you all for devotion on Monday, and I hope to see you all online for our worship service at 10:30 a.m. on Sunday. Bye. See y'all later.